Imagine this. You lose your arm in an accident. Not just the skin, not just some tissue, the entire arm. Bone, muscle, nerves, blood vessels, gone. Now imagine that 2 months later, it grows back, perfectly, like nothing ever happened. Sounds like science fiction, right? Like some superhero origin story? Well, meet the axolotl, a creature so bizarre, so impossibly unique that when Spanish conquistadors first heard about it, they thought the Aztecs were making it up. This thing can regenerate entire limbs, multiple times. It can regrow its spinal cord, parts of its brain, even portions of its heart. And here's the kicker, it never grows up, ever. It's basically the Peter Pan of the animal kingdom, except it's real, it lives in Mexico, and it might hold the secret to human regeneration. Oh, and the Aztecs believed it was a god that refused to sacrifice itself. Yeah, we need to talk about this creature. So, first things first, despite what the internet tells you, the axolotl is not a fish. It's a salamander, a fully aquatic salamander that lives its entire life underwater, but still not a fish. The name, axolotl, comes from the Aztec language Nahuatl. It roughly translates to water dog or water monster, which is adorable and slightly terrifying at the same time. The Aztecs had a whole mythology around this creature, but we'll get to that later. Trust me, it's wild. Look at this thing. Really, look at it. It's got this permanent smile that makes it look like it knows something you don't. Those feathery external gills that wave around like some kind of underwater crown. Those tiny little legs that seem almost comically small for its body. And those eyes, black, beady, with absolutely no thoughts behind them. Just vibes. Axolotls are endemic to one place on Earth, the lake complex of Xochimilco, near Mexico City. Well, lake complex is generous. It used to be a massive network of lakes and canals. Now, it's mostly canals. We'll get to why that's a problem. In the wild, they're usually dark. Brown, black, gray, colors that help them blend into the muddy lake bottom. But in captivity, oh, humans went crazy with them. We've bred pink ones, white ones, golden ones, axolotls in colors that would make them predator bait in about 5 seconds in the wild. But here's what makes them truly special. What makes them unlike almost any other creature on Earth. They never grow up. Most salamanders have this whole transformation thing figured out. They start as aquatic larvae, living underwater, breathing through gills, doing their thing. Then, as they mature, they undergo metamorphosis. They develop lungs, lose their gills, and move on to land as adults. It's the amphibian way. Water baby, land adult. Basic biology. The axolotl said, nah. This is called neoteny, the retention of juvenile features into adulthood. The axolotl reaches sexual maturity and can reproduce while still looking and living like a larva. It's like if you hit puberty but never stopped looking like a kid. You can have children, you can do adult things, but you're still rocking your elementary school body. And the axolotl is living its best life with this strategy. Why bother with all the energy and risk of metamorphosis when you can just stay a water baby forever? The lakes of Xochimilco provided everything they needed. Food, shelter, safety. Why leave? Here's where things get really interesting. Under normal circumstances, the axolotl will never transform. But, and this is a big but, if you inject them with certain hormones, particularly thyroid hormones, they can metamorphose. They'll absorb their gills, develop lungs, and become terrestrial salamanders. But here's the thing, they're terrible at it. Absolutely terrible. Transformed axolotls often don't live very long. They're awkward on land, they can't hunt properly, and they lose a lot of their regenerative abilities. It's like forcing someone to switch careers at 50 into something they've never trained for. Evolution said, stay in the water, and the axolotl listened. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room, or rather, the missing limb that won't stay missing. Axolotls can regenerate, and I'm not talking about lizard tail grows back regeneration. I'm talking about absolute, perfect, scarless regeneration of complex structures. Arms, legs, tail, spinal cord, parts of the heart, portions of the brain, even bits of their eyes. And they can do this multiple times. You can remove the same leg 5 times, and it'll grow back 5 times, perfectly. Every time. How? How is this possible? When an axolotl loses a limb, something incredible happens at the wound site. The cells don't just close up the wound and call it a day. Instead, they form what's called a blastema, a mass of undifferentiated cells that basically hit the reset button. These cells remember what they're supposed to be. Bone cells know to become bone, muscle cells know to become muscle, nerve cells rewire themselves, blood vessels reconnect. And within weeks to months, depending on the size of the injury, you've got a brand new, fully functional limb. No scarring, no loss of function, just Perfection. Humans can't do this. Most mammals can't. We scar, we heal, sure, but we don't regenerate. When we lose something, it's gone. But the axolotl, it just shrugs and grows a new one. Scientists are obsessed with this. Obsessed. Because if we can figure out how the axolotl does it, if we can understand the genetic and cellular mechanisms, we might be able to unlock regeneration in humans. Imagine that. Regrowing lost limbs, repairing spinal injuries, healing hearts after heart attacks. The axolotl isn't just a cute salamander. It might be the key to the future of medicine. But let's rewind, way back, before scientists were studying them in labs, before they became internet-famous pets. The Aztecs knew about the axolotl, and they had a story. In Aztec mythology, there was a god named Xolotl, the god of fire, lightning, and death. He was the twin brother of Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent. When the gods decided they needed to sacrifice themselves to create the fifth sun and keep the world in motion, all the gods lined up, all except Xolotl. Xolotl didn't want to die, so he ran. And to escape his fate, he transformed himself into different creatures trying to hide. First, he became a plant. They found him. Then, he became a different animal. They found him again. Finally, he dove into the water and transformed into an axolotl, a water dog, and hid in the lakes. But the gods found him, and they sacrificed him anyway. The Aztecs saw the axolotl as a symbol of transformation, sacrifice, and the refusal to change. A creature caught between two worlds, water and land, juvenile and adult, mortal and divine. And in a way, they were right. The axolotl is a creature that refuses to transform, that stays in its eternal youth, that regenerates and refuses to die. It's mythology made flesh. But here's where the story gets sad. The axolotl is critically endangered in the wild. Critically. There are estimates that in the entire Xochimilco Canal system, the only place on Earth they naturally exist, there might be fewer than 1,000 individuals left. Some surveys have found almost none. A creature that can regenerate its entire body, that can survive horrific injuries, that has been around for millions of years, is being wiped out by us. Mexico City grew. The lakes were drained for farmland. Canals were polluted. Invasive species like tilapia and carp were introduced, and they eat axolotl eggs and compete for food. The water quality has declined. The habitat has shrunk, and the axolotl, this ancient, mythical, regenerating wonder, is disappearing. But here's the thing. People are fighting back. Conservation groups in Mexico are working to restore the canals, to remove invasive species, to breed axolotls in captivity and reintroduce them. Local communities are getting involved, protecting the chinampas, the ancient floating gardens that create the habitat axolotls need. There's a project called the Axolotl Refuge, where researchers are creating safe zones within the canals. And thanks to the axolotl's popularity as a pet, there are millions of them in captivity worldwide. It's a strange irony. The axolotl is one of the most well-known amphibians on Earth, but in its home, in the wild, it's nearly gone. Okay, so here's something I didn't tell you earlier, something kind of wild. Remember how I said axolotls never metamorphose, that they stay larvae forever? Well, there's another salamander species that does transform, and scientists think it might actually be the same species. Meet the tiger salamander, a chunky, land-dwelling salamander found throughout North America. For years, scientists debated whether the axolotl was related to the tiger salamander. Turns out, the axolotl might just be a neotenic version of the tiger salamander. Depending on the environment, tiger salamanders can stay aquatic and larval, basically becoming axolotls, or they can transform. So the axolotl isn't a separate species that refused to grow up. It's a salamander that found an evolutionary niche by not transforming, by staying young, by saying, "This works, why change?" And that's kind of beautiful. So what do we take away from the axolotl? Here's a creature that refused to follow the rules, that stayed young when others grew old, that can heal wounds we can only dream of healing, that inspired gods and myths and modern science. It teaches us that evolution doesn't always mean moving forward. Sometimes it means finding what works and staying there. Sometimes youth isn't something to outgrow. It's a strategy, a way of life. The axolotl is proof that nature is stranger, more beautiful, and more hopeful than we can imagine. And maybe, just maybe, it holds the key to helping us heal in ways we never thought possible. So, next time you see one of these goofy, grinning, eternally young salamanders, remember, you're not just looking at a cute pet, you're looking at a living myth, a regenerating miracle, a god that refused to die. And honestly, that's pretty incredible.